Assalamu alaikum, this is Isa Martel. Here I am out here during the nights of Ramadan. I am still getting in some training, sword work out here, um, getting it in as best as I can. I wanted to just make a brief little off the top of my head speech. Oftentimes during Ramadan, we hear a lot of lectures, speech, dealing with aspects regarding personal developments, spiritual developments, things like this, like fasting, praying, worship, giving to the poor, feeding the needy. All these aspects of Ramadan, patience, self-control, how to do things that might erase your sins. The nights of Laylatul Qadr, which is the night of decree. We hear these things a lot. These topics are talked about so often. One thing, though, that we rarely hear about, which I not only personally have a great interest in, but also feel that would add so much to the Muslims right now, and that is the battles that happen during the month of Ramadan. The number one battle being the Battle of Badr. This battle was epic in every possible proportion you can imagine a battle being. It was led by the Prophet Muhammad himself. All the Sahaba, the great Sahaba, were in it. It was 300 Muslims versus 1,000 Quraysh. The Muslims had fled Mecca, had gone to Yathrib, which is now called Medina. The Quraysh decided after 2 years to form an army to crush the Muslims. They came. The Muslims went out. It's called the Battle of Badr because there's wells at Badr, the wells of Badr, and they filled the wells, which would tactically was a great move to force the Quraysh army to not have water. They went out, they engaged in like a trial by combat, which is custom in this part of the world, where before the battle they'd have 3 champions go out from each side, fight each other. One of the Muslim champions was Ali himself. He went out, fought, epic in every case like this. This is pure cinematic stuff we see, but this is part of our history and total reality. We don't need to watch movies to know about this stuff, but here we are, yet we're watching it because nobody tells us about this. We have heroes, 1,400 years of heroes that we don't even know about, and in any case, the main thing that made the Battle of Badr over the top in legendary battles was the fact that Gabriel appeared on the battlefield with a contingent of angels, and they fought alongside the Muslims to fight the Quraysh, which ultimately routed the Quraysh. On the Quraysh's side was Iblis himself. When he saw Iblis is the name of Satan, the devil. When he had seen Gabriel appeared, he fled the battlefield, knowing that they were about to lose. So the angels and the Muslims combined defeated the Quraysh, and this is what we believe from an Islamic point of view. From a historical point of view, it doesn't matter because the Muslims still won anyway. But these things are stuff that we, like I said, we don't hear during the month, and I would wish that we would hear things like this so that we can relate to heroes that are from not only our religion, but might be from the parts of the world that we're from. The majority of the Muslims still come from the Middle East regions, North Africa, this Asia, Central Asia. We have Muslims everywhere, of course, but still to hear about heroes that have our ideology and are fighting for what we believe in, is something that is severely lacking in today's environment. And I would hope that anybody listens to this takes the opportunity to read into these battles. Another battle, probably one that more people know about, but is epic from another perspective, is the Battle of Jerusalem, which also happened during the month of Ramadan, led by Salahuddin himself. And it was in which the battle which they retook Jerusalem from the Christians. So I'm just going to cut this off here. Look into these things. It's not bad to talk about fighting. We're entertained by it throughout the whole year. If you watch movies, TV shows, everything is action-packed. But here we have reality of things that went on, in our history. What we would be doing now if we lived back then. In fact, if we lived up to probably about 100 years ago, we would be fighting, It would be part of our duty as men to fight. If the case may be, if they declared, look, we're under attack, we got to fight, all the men would have to fight, How many of us can fight now? Physically, we'll get that. That's the easy part. Physically, are you physically in shape to be able to fight? Look at on the news, all over the news right now. We have fighting going on in Syria, Palestine, they're fighting. These people are fighting. They don't look like us Americans, They're not, big, overweight, fat, whatever. That's not how they are, But yet, we need to have our bodies physically in shape to be able to do something like that. Our bodies themselves are a gift from Allah, but we often neglect them in that regard. Harder than that is the mindset of being able to fight. This is something that mentally, I personally feel that most people don't possess, unless you were in the military or were trained in some way, which most of the Muslims in America weren't. You don't have that mentality, which is sad. In fact, not just Muslims, most of Americans. Like I said, unless you were in the military itself, don't possess the concept of fighting and the mentality that it would take to do such a thing. And how you might be able to measure yourself is do you wake up for Fajr, regularly? Are you is your body disciplined enough to wake up for Fajr? Because if you can't wake up for Fajr, what makes you think you'll have the discipline to kill somebody? It's easy to think that you might be able to kill someone, but ask anyone who came back from the wars over there. PTSD is huge. These are mental things that people have to process in their mind from these types of events. So, sorry to go on a little tangent and make this rant, which now I'm just completely off any real topic that I started to. But continue fasting, continue training, continue working out, stay fit, do what you got to do. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you.